Are we finally going to see the destruction of the Kerch bridge? It's looking extremely likely, and today we're getting some new information, not a lot, but we're getting some information kind of talking about this. For those who don't know what the Kerch bridge is, it's sometimes referred to the Crimean bridge. The reason why is because it connects Russia and Crimea. It is a relatively new bridge after Russia had occupied Crimea, aka stole Crimea. They wanted to connect Russia to it. Remember that this bridge and of course Crimea was a very proud thing for Putin. He returned that land back to Russia where it belonged, which is complete and utter BS. It is Ukrainian, it has always been Ukrainian. And when Russia added this bridge, it angered many Ukrainians because once again, this is not a Russian territory. Why did Russia build a bridge? And so over the past 10 years, Russia has been using this bridge. It's actually been over 10 years. It's about over 10 years. Russia has been using this bridge to not only ferry people back and forth, but bring over oil, military equipment from missiles to tanks to military personnel, and then move other military equipment on both sides. Remember that this is kind of two different bridges. One is a train bridge, you can see the trains right here, and then another one is a car bridge. So when Russia opened this, they obviously loved having it because they can bring the military equipment in, and they were stockpiling all this equipment in 2022 when in February, Russia started their invasion of Ukraine. Now, since that invasion, Ukrainians have attempted to destroy this bridge twice. One time, it was pretty bad. I actually have to admit they'd have to fix it, but they fixed it and they opened it a few months later. The second time, I believe, was in July, where this photo came from, where you had drones and other things that attacked it. Now, unfortunately, it did not destroy the bridge, and every time that Ukrainians were able to cause damage, Russia either fixed it within months or they kind of just did a couple different things to move things along. Russia did kind of change the way that they had to move equipment, though, because some of this was damaged so bad that Russia couldn't just bring equipment over. So in the meanwhile, they got a couple of their landing ships, which may sound familiar to you because there are a decent amount of them, and they were ferrying across different equipment. But Ukrainians caught on to that and using long-range missiles have been targeting a lot of those ships, also using naval drones. They've been removing a lot of those ships from Russia's reserve and from the active fleet to the point to where Russia only has a handful left. I know they say it's 6, but out of those 6, really only 4 of them, and maybe even 3 of them, are making that trip daily. So this means that Russia had to rely on this bridge again, which they did fix up and things are moving back and forth. But according to a brand new report that came out today, it was actually in an interview from The Guardian from a Ukrainian official, they announced that this bridge is going to be hit again sometime in the first half of 2024. So imagine 6 months. That's what, June? We're currently in April. So April, May, June. That means we have 90 days. Within 90 days, we expect this bridge to be hit again. Now, I know what you're saying. Why is it important that this bridge be gone? Well, first is bringing the ammunition. Russia uses this to bring ammunition and weapons into occupied Crimea to hit Ukraine. And if Ukraine can stop the landing craft from going and stop this, that would mean that Russia would have to bring all their equipment through Zaporizhia and other regions that are occupied, and Ukrainians can take out those rail lines and those routes as well, which they have been doing in the past several years. The most recent one, I would say, was maybe about 6 months ago, where Russia had rebuilt an entire bridge and road, and the day that it opened, Ukrainians destroyed it. So if they're able to cut this off and cut off the other way, that means no equipment is getting to Crimea. And the other reason why it's so important that you destroy this bridge is because Putin is proud of this bridge. He's proud of the bridge and proud to have Crimea. So if you can make Putin look really bad, that is a win-win. So I know what you're saying. How are they going to do it? What do they plan on doing? We really don't know. According to this official, who is not named, they're following an approved plan that Zelensky had put together. We're assuming, and this is just an assumption, that plan includes long-range missiles, because for the past 3 months, Zelensky's been asking for long-range missiles, especially the Tauruses. And we know, according to leaked documents and a conversation between German officials, that Russia knows that they're planning something, but they didn't know what at the time. This is kind of like a weird situation, because it turns out that German communications got hacked at a conference in a different country because one of the German officials had decided to not use the proper channels. And in that conversation, they were talking about, should we send Tauruses to Ukraine? And if we do, are they going to use it to attack the bridge? We don't want them to use it to attack the bridge. And it kind of went back and forth. And interestingly enough, the conversation truly wasn't anything bad. It wasn't like the German official was saying, yeah, give it to them so they can destroy it. They actually were against it. And they didn't want to do it for that exact reason. Well, Russia just so happened to be at that conference, caught that audio, and then put that information out there that Germany, look, they're looking to give these things to Ukraine, which actually wasn't true. But because of that whole thing, we all kind of now look and say, well, Ukraine was clearly asking for those Tauruses to hit the bridge. So when talking about this approved plan, it sounds like that's exactly what Zelensky wanted to do. Now, I don't know if they changed it or what they're planning on doing, maybe if they're using scalps or storm shadows. We don't know any of that at this time. What we do know is that Ukraine does need long-range missiles to hit targets like this. So it could be a combination of naval drones or storm shadows to attack this bridge in certain sections to have it collapse. The main question you're probably asking is, but what stops Russia from just rebuilding the bridge or fixing the bridge? Well, resources for Russia right now are starting to thin out. Same thing with money. And while before some of these parts had collapsed, they were able to rebuild it within 3 months. When Ukraine hits it, they're going to have to hit it in a way that's going to disable it for at least a minimum of 6 months. Enough time to stop and slow all of the movement of weapons into Crimea. So once again, what do they plan on doing? We don't know. How will they do it? We don't know. My guess is a mix between storm shadows and regular drones, or maybe even those new drones they've been using, especially those that shot, 1,200 kilometers into Russia? Those are all possibilities for this bridge, but it looks like it's going to have to be at different points along the way so that the whole thing, or at least massive sections of it, can come down. That is kind of all we know at this moment. I wish I had more information for you. Just saying, we've got less than 90 days until we're halfway through 2024, so we're expecting this thing to come down within that time frame. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, we're still doing videos on TikTok and here on this channel in our shorts. You may not notice anything from me in the upcoming week or so. I'm going on vacation up until April 16th. We're going to have a couple people on our TikTok channel who you may know already, Yulia and Masha, who's going to be taking over reins. That way you're still going to get information on that channel. It just won't be from me until the 15th or 16th. So don't worry, videos will still be coming, just not long-form videos like this on this channel until I get back. But we got a lot of exciting things coming. We're working with United 24 and a couple other partners, so a lot of big things coming in the next several weeks. Anyway, I'm Joey. Stay safe. I'll see you later. Bye.